and after a big break. From stress to Samadhi. Stress has built into our life. Every day people have stress, and the stress takes forms of different situations form the stress. We started with the stress of past, that we said, how we carry on our burden of the past, and we always worry about what I did, what I didn't, and we always worry about it, and we continue to carry that with us all the time. And the same thing, anxieties of the future, we carry what's going to happen, all these things. They're continuous stress in our mind all the time, and that prevents us from enjoying the life. And having the enjoyment is to bring ourselves to the level of existence that is around us. And when we start synchronizing with that existence is the real state of Samadhi. So what are the factors that prevents us from going into the Samadhi? That's what we are discussing. So last few lectures we talked about one was the burden of the past, anxiety of the future. The third one was the ego, how we maintain our ego, that we are the doers, and how people like to boast about of their possessions and all these things. So now the next discussion we're going to have is another stressful thing that we all are cursed with right from the time of birth till we die, and is that the idea of perfection. How in our mind we are continuously bombarded that we have to perfect ourselves. We have to perfect ourselves. We have to reach to a state where we can really be the best of whatever we are, best of the doctor, best of the investor, best of this, best of that. And in that struggle, we continuously running. We never reach that state of perfection, but in between, we are continuously stressed out. We are continuously bombarded. Our minds have been molded right from the time that we were a child, and we are given that stick with a carrot in front, and we keep on going till we die. So what is the idea of perfection? The idea of perfection is a neurotic state, according to Rajneesh. He says it's the neurosis that's been kind of bombarded on you. We are given a dream. First of all, the idea of perfection starts with a firm belief that you are imperfect right now. That's the first mistake we make. Because why would you tell somebody, or why would somebody want to be perfect if they're already perfect?
But sometimes, isn't it that to be a better person, you just work harder on that direction?
Agree. But your working hard can be devoted to the present moment. Rather, perfection is a state of future. Is a future state that has not happened. So it immediately draws you from the present state with a constant reminder that you are not there yet. So you're continuously striving to be there. The energy that you're going to be spending, the same energy you can apply into making yourself the personal best. See, perfection is in relation with somebody else. When I'm perfect and you are not, I'm better than you. When I'm imperfect and you are perfect, I'm worse than you. So I have to struggle to catch up with you. So that struggle, the perfection, is looking at your horizontal, surrounding lifestyle, surrounding people, what they have achieved, what you have not achieved, and things like that. Personal best is I'm just trying to make myself available to the present moment. And whatever happens after that, I don't care. If I turn out to be not as perfect as you, it's okay. But at least I enjoyed doing what I did. So that is the idea. So sometimes by being in the present, your personal best comes out. The amount of energy that you will be spending in achieving that personal best, where you concentrate heavily on what you are, without worrying about what the results are going to be. So the state of perfection is going to be the reward of what you're doing now, except that reward never comes. Because there is nothing like perfection, because there is always somebody going to be better than you. So that's the whole idea. So the desire for perfection is the desire to reach a state that has not been attained. And so you start with a negative feeling of imperfection. So right when the child is born, everything has been told to him that you should do this, you should do that, you should be this. And now the people who are telling the child that you should do this and you should do that, they themselves have never been perfect. The parents, the teachers, the gurus, and your friends around, some seniors or whatever, they themselves have never really reached that state. And now they tell you, because they want to carry out their own dreams through you, right?
Especially parents.
Especially parents.
Putting a lot of pressure on the kids.
So, the whole idea is a neurotic idea. The perfection is a neurotic idea. The reason is, the perfection means you reach to a state of dead end. It's a dead end. Once you are perfect, there is no growth possible.
Correct.
It's an existential cul-de-sac. Your existence has come to an end. You have reached to a state where there is further growth is just not possible. And how unreal it is. Which is change happening all the time. If the consciousness had reached a state of perfection, the consciousness would not be creating.
Correct.
Your creation,
never thought of that way.
Your creative power will come to an end once you reach a state of perfection.
Correct.
So, how unreal it is. And if you think you have reached the state of perfection, and the rest of the consciousness is continuously evolving, changing, people around you, trees around you, birds around you, all the evolution is taking place. How unreal it is to stay in a state of perfection where the whole world is changing. Even the consciousness is not perfect. Being perfect is anti-consciousness, is anti-spirituality. So the nature itself is evolving.
It is just like after you are perfect, you are perfectly imperfect.
Right. So once you reach a state of perfection, you cannot go anywhere.
Correct.
You are stuck there. And you are stuck forever. And that's the problem. But life is a flow. And in the flow itself, the creation happens. The new flowers arise. The new butterflies are born. Evolution creates new species. All this beauty of creation happens only when there is a state of imperfection. So in that process, when you accept yourself as a continuous flow in the life, being imperfect is perfectly all right.
Perfectly perfect.
It's fine. It's fine to be imperfect. So when you realize that imperfection can be beautiful, the stress, imagine the stress of not trying to be perfect, it's immediately gone. Now you are relaxed.
Only one thing is perfect, which is dead.
Right.
Whatever is
Because
dead
there
is
no growth.
perfect.
Dead person cannot grow. So he's perfectly dead.
So that means we should not strive to become a perfect person.
No, that's not. That's what God is saying.
No. What I'm saying is your striving is your own growth within yourself is fine. But the quote unquote perfection is when you're trying to compare yourself with the rest of the world, and that competition is bad.
That becomes a stress.
That becomes the stress.
I'll make it simple for you. Sorry, you have a goal. You achieve. That is perfect. Once you achieve, it is perfectly imperfect. Once it is achieved, it is perfectly imperfect.
Talk English. Talk English. You have to explain better.
No, it was her question. You don't worry.
Supposing, for example, she wants to become singer, right? Once she becomes singer, that means she's imperfect?
No.
No.
No, the thing is that you may not become Lata Mangeshkar.
Yeah.
That's okay too.
That's okay too.
The enjoyment that you should have is in singing, not comparing yourself with anybody else. When your heart goes into singing, that's what I tell Sushma all the time. And as soon as she finished, how was it? I said, no, sing for yourself.
Right.
I said, close your eyes and
Don't ask people.
It's my habit too.
Okay?
yeah.
It's my habit too.
Exactly. Everybody's.
Yeah.
You don't have to narrate your habits.
मैंने
We
एक
know.
गाना गाया है सिटी में,
Right.
तो मैं सबसे एक बार फोन कर पूछता हूँ मेरा कैसा गया,
Right.
एक बार कैसा गया.
Exactly. It
तो
doesn't
क्या
matter.
I become happy.
But
why you
that
not-
happiness is a relative happiness. If somebody come and tell you that it was good, you're happy. If somebody tells you that it was horrible, then hawa nikal gayi.
Exactly.
नहीं,
Then you're on.
why
Then
your
I will correct
the
my next
perception
CD.
is different.
no,
that.
expectation is gonna make it miserable when somebody says it's not good,
Not good.
right? And then you're gonna strive again.
Yeah.
And the next time, maybe 2 more people will say, but 5 more may not say anything, or things like that. So you're living on everybody else's
I
opinions.
was arguing with him on the same topic
Exactly.
today morning.
Right. That's why I say, when you sing, you close your eyes and put your every single cell of your body should be singing. Not just your throat, not just your face. Every single cell of your body should be singing.
But we become happy when somebody says yes.
Because you're looking
Doesn't
for...
matter.
Because your happiness depends on somebody's praises.
Appreciation required.
Not on your singing.
Likes appreciation.
No, this
That's
is
where
just
the problem is.
topic of
That's what exactly he says
That's
teaching
where the
right
problem
now.
is. When the appreciation is required,
Yeah.
you are feeling insufficient inside. That's what I said. Idea
It's a
of
poverty
perfection.
consciousness.
Idea of perfection starts with the thinking that you are imperfect. And that state of feeling of imperfection is a negative feeling. You want to live with that negative feeling all the time? Then fine. Then the stress will be always there. Samadhi will never happen. When you want to be feeling that I am okay, whichever state I am in, I'm fine. But I will put your heart into because I love singing. I'll just do it, no matter what. Every single thing about singing you should love. I should love my patients. Every single patient walks in, whether he has money or not, whether he's a 10-year-old kid or he's an 80-year-old kid, when somebody's nagging me with 10,000 questions or somebody just comes and chats with me, I should be happy with every single patient because the process of being a doctor I should enjoy. Now, whether I'm a better doctor than somebody else, I don't have time to think about it. If you are,
You don't need to. If you are
that's what
really
I'm saying.
enjoying your
If
doctorship.
you are 100% in doing what you are, what difference does it make? And if in that process somebody comes and tells you that I didn't like your treatment, that's not going to bother me because from my end, I did everything I could.
Right.
And after that, whatever happens, it happens. That's never going to bother me. At the same time, somebody comes and praises me. Oh, it doesn't matter either.
That's
I
Samadhi.
just do what I enjoy doing it. And that's the end of that. Same way singing, same way, whatever you're doing.
Correct.
So idea of perfection is a thing of the future. And the future should not interfere with the present. That's what I'm
But
saying.
as long as somebody's perfection is inspiring you, it is okay. You understand? Somebody's perfection is inspiring you, it is okay.
But inside, at the end of if you sung a song, right? At the end of that, you felt that you did not put
Right.
your heart in it, then you will improve yourself
Correct.
for the next time. But not necessarily from somebody else's comments or suggestions or anything. You evaluate yourself.
Correct.
And if you spend more time within yourself, you will be a good evaluator, better than anybody else. Because if somebody comes and tells you, half of the people won't tell you because they don't want to bother. Some others will come to just praise you artificially. Are you going to go by that? But if you really step back and you live within self, and at the self level, if you evaluate, you will know you did not do it right. Then you will be your own judge and you will improve yourself. So you are your own judge and you are the own or improver.
और दूसरा एक भी समझो, अगर सभी गाने वाले किशोर कुमार और सभी गाने वाली लता मंगेशकर हो जाएगी, world will become so boring, you know.
सुनने वाले भी चाहिए.
It will be so boring. Everybody singing the same tone.
Today I couldn't explain him. You explained him the better way.
No, the thing is, he listened to him. I think I'm right.
No, the thing is
But
that
our happiness comes from if somebody prays, oh, I have become.
But that's
Oh,
where
So
the
that's
problem is.
artificial happiness.
that's our
That's
human
not-
nature.
That's
no?
not
No.
real
That's
happiness.
not my fault.
No, it's not human nature.
It is your fault.
Everybody is
Like
is different.
Sushma ji, how she मैंने कैसा गाया बोला
Yeah,
मैंने.
but she's
That's-
not a perfect human either.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect.
नहीं,
Nobody's
ऐसे-
perfect.
But even
ऐसे-
that tendency, all right, that tendency to expect the praise from outside is a mistake by itself, and that's why we are here.
Can I say-
Spirituality class, yes.
Now, the tendency to be, because when people ask, somebody say how I did it, is basically I am trying to prevent that fear of shame that I may not be accepted. That's why I want to know, and I
Whether I was accepted or not.
Yeah, that I was accepted or
Right.
not, did I do a good job or not?
Right.
Because nobody wants to be ashamed of themselves. and then I want to belong to some place.
Right.
I want to be in that group. So I want to be appreciated.
See, the bottom line, the goal of spirituality is to raise yourself to the state and the field of spirituality.
Goalless goal.
In that spiritual field, only you exist. Nothing else exists.
True.
Right? It is totally you. It was always you. It's always you are, and you always gonna be. All the other things are fleeting things. They come and go. Opinions come and go. Money comes and goes. This and that. It doesn't matter. The moment you leave that field of spirituality and step outside, that's where the fault comes in. Right? So, in that field, if you are self-sufficient, see the swasthya, right? They call, what is swasthya? If you try to define health, there is no way to define health. And if you say, okay, there is no disease, so there is health. But in Sanskrit, we have good word for health, is swasthya. Whoever is steady, sthai in swa, is swasthya.
Correct.
Whoever becomes swama je sthir re, that is now swasthya. Now, it doesn't matter. If I become steady in myself, if I listen to every single impulse of my body, if I am totally self-sufficient in my spiritual field, I'll eat when I'm hungry, I'll drink when I'm thirsty, without getting distracted by all the surrounding impulses. I'll sing when I feel like, just like the birds do. I'll blossom like a flower when I feel like. I'll close when I feel like. You totally live within self.
That's the expressive life.
And in that, you think it's a dead end. Only because we've been made to believe that no, you have to go out in the world and create. The creativity will happen. Because in that state, you cannot stay without creating. But you are not creating. Consciousness is creating. Because
Through you, yeah.
through you, exactly. Before human beings came, there was no will. There was no ego. There were no doers. Flowers were blooming. Beautiful mountains were created. Snow-capped mountains and all these beautiful trees. Everything was created. And creatures more beautiful than you and me are created. I was looking at the show on the other day about the painted snails
Yeah, I saw that
of
too.
Cuba.
Yeah.
You will go crazy. There are certain, Cuba was under the embargo, right, by the United States because of the communism, which was good thing, because under that embargo, Cuba never developed materially. So there are a lot of areas of Cuba which has not been developed. These are remote jungles. They have not been touched by civilizations. And they discovered these painted snails. These are all freshwater snails. They exist in the moisture and the deep pockets of the jungle. They have not revealed where these are. Otherwise, the world will go and find it out.
Tourist place.
And this documentary was on it. These snails have their shells. I tell you, you give a 2-year-old or 3-year-old the box of crayons and let them paint whatever color they want, you name it, and these colors are on these snail shells. Violet and purple and yellow and deep green and pink and
What a
more
intelligence.
beautiful than you and me. You see the avatar, you know how their
Yeah.
bodies were purple,
Right.
and things like that. There is an immense potential for creativity within the consciousness. Lot better than you and me we can, but our egos come in the way. That's what I'm saying. So when you are totally self-sufficient, what difference does it make who tells what? I sung because I felt like. I may sound horrible, but who cares? This is what I am. And this is what you are. So when you start accepting, even though you sung horrible, if you enjoyed every single word of that song, what difference does it make who says what? You are happy because you enjoyed singing, not appreciation of the people. So like I said, every single cell of your body should be doing what you're doing. If you're drinking, fine. Drink 100%. You enjoy every single drop of that beer. Fine. But if the wrong moment, you don't feel like, you won't. Just the way it is. Just because everybody says so, don't do it. If you feel like, do it. It's like your total internal environment without expecting anything from outside. So that's what it is. And in that process, if you are imperfect compared to somebody else, so what? Imperfection is a way of life. Consciousness is imperfect. Nature is imperfect. That's why it's evolving. Nature has not reached the state of perfection. Otherwise, there would not have been any growth. You would not have been born. I would not have been born. And believe me, consciousness has so many ways of creating the next generations or next phase of animals or whatever is going to come. Every single day, every single baby is born is a result of permutation, combination of so many genetic changes, and there are already so many mutations already exist in you and me that we don't even know. And yet we're trying to make ourselves compare to somebody else. We say, how I'm taller than you, I'm shorter than you, I'm trying to look like you, this and that. We are trying to cement ourselves with each other, and God is creating every single human being different than everybody else. There is not a single human being created like you before, and there is not going to be ever since again. Even you, when you will be born again, 20 years or 30 years or 100 or 1,000 years later, you will be different too. You will not be the same. So, multitude of potentialities are always there, millions and millions of potentialities, and that is imperfection. It's okay. It's okay to be imperfect. So, it's okay to be what you are. Just express yourself, and in that state of imperfection, the Samadhi happens. So that state...
I just want to say one sentence.